Right then, hello there, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, whenever you're watching this video. My name's Paul. I do what's called the Daily Teaser. It's a brain teaser quiz. I do that every morning, and you can find that if you hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. YouTube will very kindly give you a poke to let you know that's up and about. I also talk about TV shows occasionally. I haven't sat down with one for a while. And I also, every so often, more recently than not just recently, I'll sit down in front of my TV screen and watch a film or two or three or four. I've seen a couple over the past few weeks, and last night, Tuesday night, I sat down with a new horror film called Censor, and I wanted to tell you about it. Directed by Prano Bailey Bond, Censor is set at some point in the early 80s, in the age of the classic video nasty. And it opens with a shot of a girl wandering through the woods, falling over and being dragged into the darkness. It turns out that this scene is one from a film that's being reviewed by two censors, the very strict Enid, Neve Algar, and a much more relaxed Sanderson, Nicholas Burns. The pair are, it seems, having an on-again, off-again sort of discussion about what could or could not be cut from the film. Enid's not happy with the eyeball gouging, to give you an example, while Sanderson is relaxed about that, but doesn't like the decapitation. Just your average day at work there, then, I think. In either case, it's something they have to argue about with the rest of the team. After work, Enid heads home only to be reminded by a phone message that she's due to have dinner with her parents, who finally managed to get the death certificate for her missing sister Nina, a sister who Enid believes is still very much alive. The next day, at work, Enid and Sanderson are called before the boss, Fraser, played by Vincent Franklin. There's a problem, it seems. A film the pair had approved a few months earlier has been linked to a gruesome murder in the area. And what's more, their names have been revealed as the censors who ordered it passed. To make the day worse, Enid had to sit down with another colleague, Perkins, Danny Lee Winter, to review
Don't Go in the Church,
a movie that, it has to be said, looks vaguely and distinctly like a snuff film. And on top of that, to Enid, it looks too much like the disappearance of her sister when they were children. Do you think there's going to be a plot line somewhere? You'd be dead right. Now, what did I make of Censor? What did I feel about it? How do I look at it? What do I reckon? What do I think? You're looking at me and thinking, Paul, you're burbling, aren't you? You'd be right. I am a bit. For me, it's a comparatively late night, and I'm feeling a touch of headachy eye strain, but there you go, that's life for you. At any rate, what did I make of it? About the major thing that stands out to me is I felt possibly that they could have had a little bit more money spent on the sets. Not the indoors ones, not the office ones. They've done well shooting those. But I'm talking about the outdoor ones, where the fictional films the censors are censoring, it's a reused patch of woodland with a caravan in it. A caravan that is constantly redressed as needed. It's a scary cottage in one fictional film, it's a church in another. A caravan towards the end where a fictional possible snuff film is being filmed. That is really my only complaint about the film. You can turn it around and also say that it's a very good use of a small budget. Just to give, if you want to give it another perspective, that's always something you can look at it as. They've got a small budget, they've used it well. Would have seen a bit more, would have preferred to see a bit more cash to see maybe an extra couple of sets, but that's just me. On the whole, that's really my only complaint about Censor. The writing from Prano Bailey Bond and from Alan and co-writer Alan Fletcher is good and strong. It goes from A to B to C with quite a good, smooth pace. The strong cast helped take it there. It goes from a strong start to a midpoint that's well done to a smoothly schizophrenic ending with little apparent effort. I should add at this point the ending is, and I'll try and keep it as spoiler-free as I can, the ending is nicely done. It shows us two different endings, works them together quite well, and then ends finally on the shot of a videotape coming out of a videotape machine. The old pop-up front loaders, if you remember those. So it's a film that's very good, but it's also one that's very reminiscent of Peter Strickland's In Fabric, which I saw a few weeks ago. I'll try and add the video review underneath this video as well to that, but you'll find it on the films and film review playlist. But it's what I'm trying to say here is that it's definitely a film that definitely seems to be a genre of giallo-style British horror films. Peter Strickland's In Fabric was the first one I've seen, and this, Censor, is one that I found reminiscent of In Fabric. There's a similar sort of retro theme of making something, a shop, a video centre's office, scary and psychologically grim. It's got a strong, surreal tone, a slightly offbeat tone. It's got a very Censor, as well as In Fabric, it's got a very strong colour palette. There's very vivid blues and greens and yellows and reds. The blood is quite distinct. The blueness of the walls is quite something in the various offices. So it's got a strong colour palette, which is something that I noticed personally. I kind of appreciated that. The soundtrack is not quite as distinct, or the soundtrack for Censor is not quite as distinctive as that for In Fabric. That had a slightly more noticeable, interesting edge, I felt. So I don't know if Censor is as memorable or as good as or as artistic as In Fabric, but it's got, from what I could see, a slightly smaller budget. It's got less sets. It's got possibly all sorts of lack compared to In Fabric, but on the other hand, it uses its budget well, its actings are strong, and from a first-time director, it's a very good film. It really is quite something. In Fabric, I gave 4 stars. That's usually the most I'll give a film. But just to give you a comparison, I've given 3 to Censor. It may not be as good as In Fabric, but it is still very much worth your while, I think. If you like that kind of giallo-style British little indie Brit flick, it's certainly one to watch, I think. At any rate, thank you for watching this video review. Thank you for sticking around and maybe having a look at my playlist. Thank you for being here, and please, check out Censor, and if you see it, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Have a good day, have a good evening, don't have nightmares.